You're watching this week's show with Dan and Mike.
This week's show.
Booyah!
And it's actually in some ways a beautiful yet sad time because we've just seen, and we've got our own little bat out, which does still have its head. Because it was Ozzy's final gig.
It was epic and emotional, and
there's so many.
Not going to be seen again.
Yeah, so many things coming out online that are great. I don't know where to start. I mean, Jason Momoa in the actual pit, having climbed off stage to jump into the pit.
Yes, he has done that before, but yeah. It's the way he then went back up, fist bumped Phil and Samo, and then went back into the pit.
Yeah.
Like...
I mean, I just love that man. There's very little I've seen that he does that doesn't sort of go down really well with people.
And he was a good compere as well.
Yeah, he's. But I think it's because he is actually a rock and metal fan.
He is, and he's 100% a Sabbath fan as well.
Oh, 100%. The only one which I could have seen being a fantastic one because of what he wore in the first Avengers movie is it would have been amazing if Robert Downey Jr. Because he wore the Black Sabbath top through the whole of the first Avengers movie.
But he's more of an indie kind of guy.
I also think that if we were going to have him compare a final gig, AC/DC's final gig, because of how much AC/DC's music got used with Iron Man.
Why is that?
Oh, I don't know. No idea. But there was so many good things. I mean, the love that was being shown backstage, on stage, by fans.
Yeah, it was
one of the most positive things.
There's so many cameos, surprises.
Appearances.
Like Yungblud.
Oh my God. Incredible. I have watched him do changes so many times now because...
I know I put it on my predictions for Download 25, but I'm pretty sure Andy Coppin, who has been photoed with Yungblud at the gig, is probably going... After that, I might bunk you up to headline one.
Not only that, I love the way that Andy Coppin put it on his, because I think he tweeted or Instagrammed it, but saying that...
Posted it on socials.
Posted it on socials. It was his Queen Live Aid moment for Yungblud.
Yeah.
And you can see why, because Yungblud did not hold back. That was a heartfelt, emotional performance.
Yeah, 100%.
But he was still absolutely on point, notes-wise, frontman's energy.
But he also stripped back his appearance. He was dressed somber with his hair swept back.
Yeah.
Just like when he did the David Bowie thing a few years back in his memorial gig there. And it's just like, Yungblud knows how to rise to an occasion.
Yeah.
Headlining Download next year, perhaps.
Well, I've also seen a few posts. It's mostly Yungblud fan pages, but I actually
because you're in all of them.
Yeah. But I actually agree with some of the stuff that they're saying. Is that in many ways, a torch has been passed.
Yeah, I can see that
because he has that. I mean, he's got his own festival, like Ozzy had his own festival. He's worked with an insane amount of people.
Yep.
Ozzy may not have done the guest features on albums in the same way, but I don't think there's anybody from that era that Ozzy didn't end up touring with at least one point.
Exactly.
Or having in the Ozzy Osbourne band project, or everything that he's worked with.
Plus having Yungblud there got eyeballs from the likes of Metallica and Lamb of God, who were a surprise act, and all these bands that you would think are proper metal, thrash and all that kind of stuff, because there were 3 of the big 4 performed there.
Right.
And they would have all been aware of who Yungblud is, but now they can actually see how he performs, and it's like there's definitely something from the older generation, like your Slayers and your Lamb of God and Metallicas will be going like, I think metal's or alternative heavy rock is in good hands with someone like Yungblud.
We also know that Metallica routinely have taken out or raised up bands like Biffy Clyro.
Yeah, and Machine Head and Gojira and Architects recently have all been support.
Shout out to Gojira not being part of a supergroup and just being there as Gojira.
Yeah.
Because we remember being in a sold-out venue in Exeter probably about 15 years ago, where we did the interview backstage, but we weren't allowed to film. And we said to each other then, like, Gajira or something else, like, don't sleep on this because...
It was like a Tuesday night to 700 people, and it was just like,
A couple of unknown bands from their home country played with them as well. It wasn't like a big tour.
Carbon, was it?
I remember Clone with a K.
Yes. No, Carbon was on the Jaeger tour, I believe, with them.
Yeah. So, and they had their own set against, as you say, the three of the big four.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses, you know.
But then you also had like Papa Amorous from Ghost singing with a super group with like some of Ozzy's old bandmates with there, and then you had
David Draymond.
David Draymond 2 was there from number 2 or whatever. Drummer 2 from Sleep Token. It was just like unbelievable. The like people that weren't already announced that just turned up.
Do you know what it reminded me of?
Live Aid.
No, actually, because I never watched it like at the time.
You probably weren't even born when Live Aid. But I remember actually watching it. I was young.
But it was because of the drummer link, actually, and it reminded me, obviously slightly different style, but the Queen's Jubilee, I think a 50th, where Phil Collins played for most of the bands as the drummer.
Yes.
And shout out Phil Collins. The fact that you're still going with the illnesses that you're facing, legend. But it was that production value. And when you realise that, you know, Queen's Jubilee, royalty, but Prince of Darkness, also royalty.
100%,
Similar size sort of gigs, but not limited to a country. Ozzy was appreciated like that.
Globally.
Yeah, that went around the world.
Well, talking of drums, they had the drum off, didn't they? So like you had Travis Barker,
Chad from
Chili Peppers, and I think it was the guy from Tool, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I think the only one that was missing was Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
That would have made it epic. But then you had Jack Black.
Yeah. And
he would have made an epic compare for the entire thing if Jason Momoa was not able to do it. I think
100%.
Jack Black would have nailed it as well. But
yeah. One of the best things that I have ever seen put together, and we weren't even there. This is us going off
and we
footage.
Didn't watch it live because we were in the studio recording our own radio show at the time.
But just, I genuinely did what you did and spent most of my Sunday just enjoying it, feeling the vibe. Shout out as well to the beautiful thing that Sid from Slipknot did as well.
That was very sweet, wasn't it?
Proposing.
You're not going to propose to my daughter, are you?
Probably with a few more F-bombs in there. But what I loved about that is, one, he did propose to really mark like the event, but it was Ozzy's reaction to begin with, making a joke, and then when he realised it was real, turning into the actual dad, grandfather, the man, and putting his hand on Sid in such a lovely way to show that he approved.
Because they've been like almost childhood sweethearts. They've known each other since they were both
friends for a long time first.
And it's just progressed, and now they've got children or Ozzy's grandchildren. Imagine your dad's in Slipknot, your granddad invented heavy metal. That guy, that Kelly's kid has got some
pressure on him.
Yeah.
Bless him. But
70 years' time, they'll be playing at Villa Park again for.
But who better to raise him than Kelly, that understands the pressure of having one of the most famous parents in the world? Because that's what a lot of Meet the Osbournes was about, was her dealing with that pressure.
Oh yeah.
And look how well she's done for herself after getting through all that.
And Jack as well.
Yeah, toughness. And shout out to the Osbournes as well. Can never remember the name of the kid that isn't Kelly or Jack. Amy. But just to remember that it was her choice never to be on TV and never be part of the publicity. Does not mean what I've seen on the internet that she was ostracised from the family. They just supported it.
Ozzy just bit his daughter's head off.
They just supported it. And like Saturday shows, she was there. She just doesn't like the limelight, never wanted to be in it. And I love the fact that that's been respected.
Yeah.
People think that they were a lot less sort of, they made their kids do it, but no, it was always like the kids wanted to do it, so they did it. I mean, Meet the Osbournes is hilarious to go back and watch now.
We have got a lot to thank the Osbournes and Ozzy and Black Sabbath. Not, I know we're talking Ozzy at the moment, but it was Black Sabbath as well.
Yeah.
And to see Bill Ward back in the band, topless, not so much my cup of tea, playing those drums, but
fair play to him.
Because we were there at the end when they played Download, and it was Vinny Appice as the drummer.
Yes, and Tony Iommi had fought back to health at that point as well.
And it was, and Geezer was just Geezer because
he's Geezer.
Yeah, and to see all four of them back on the stage was mint, as they say up north.
Absolutely perfect. And Ozzy wasn't wrong when he said that my body's failing me, but my voice is still
sounded sharp.
It sounded like the first time that me and you saw Ozzy at Download together years ago.
Was that his solo one, or?
I can't remember. I think it wasn't Sabbath. I think
it was solo, wasn't it? It was the Sunday night.
When we did it together for the first time, Sunday night.
In the rain.
Yeah, and we waited all the way to the fireworks of Ozzy before we got in a car and drove 4.5 hours home. Never doing that again. But talking about festivals, because otherwise we will just sit here and it's going to be an appreciation of...
It'll be another whole day worth of Osbourne. Yeah.
We are doing our next festival this coming weekend.
Yes.
It is 2000 Trees.
2000 Trees Festival near Cheltenham. As I would say in the States, but it's Cheltenham.
This is always an interesting one for us because we go to Download.
We do.
And everything's like sectioned off, fenced in, because it's over 100,000 people. Of course, you've got to actually make sure people go to the right places. You go to Trees and it's like a substitute teacher has turned up to class and all rules just go out the window.
Yeah, it's only about 20,000, isn't it? This is the smallest one so far.
But do you remember the first time we walked through it, I was realising that there was no fences from the camping into the arena. It's all just blended in together. And they got the forest performances for acoustics that, if you're going to 2000 Trees, make sure that you do go check out the forest performances.
It's so weird, isn't it? Just sitting, like, leaning against a tree, and then there's someone, like, playing songs that, like we saw Therapy there, didn't we?
Didn't we do Shikari as well?
Yeah. And Shikari did an acoustic sort of thing. Just, Rao was like, don't know how this is going to go.
Especially for an electronic band like that.
Yeah.
But, they did so well, and the crowd was absolutely loving the a cappella.
It's just guitar, wasn't it? Guitar and
whereas
a-cappella and...
we know that Frank Turner, who is Frank...
Well, he's got his own campsite. He's there so often, and he's there again this year, playing on the stage inside the forest.
Yep.
But also, the newly reformed Million Dead are playing, which is Frank Turner again at 2000 Trees.
But what I love as well is, on the flip side, to give an example of one of my favourite heavy bands that is there this year, is they've got stuff like Imminence on their heavy stage, and genuinely, Trees is one of the ones where we're so close to everything as press agents that we generally can actually go and see the things that we want. And it's been so frustrating because I've chatted to Imminence and not been able to see them a couple of times now. And
you chatted to them in May.
Yeah, at Slam Dunk, but I couldn't get out to their set in time. So I'm really hoping that Trees, because that is a vibe. I'm not sure you've actually seen Imminence play live, because the times I've seen them have been when I've taken somebody to London with me.
I don't think I have.
So I would love you to be able to see what that violin sound translates like.
I want to see Black Gold as well.
Yeah.
Because we've known of their existence and whatnot.
We caught 30 seconds of them like 2 years ago or something like that, but we couldn't stay.
Yeah.
Can't remember the reasons why. So yeah, Black Gold. But I've just seen the reaction from our manager and just a little bit of show history. Like a good 1 to 2 years before she ever decided to become our manager. It was Heidi that I took to Imminence in London.
Oh, okay.
And we took up her old work van, ended up doing an interview like 6 hours before the show. So just slept in the van. And of course that inspired me to eventually buy my own van to sleep in more often. So very excited for Imminence. I know that you're also... buzz that you get to see Coheed and Cambria on the main stage.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I only know a couple of songs, but I've never watched them live.
Here, but I think the last time I saw them live was actually you have seen them live.
I just don't remember it.
Yeah, it was when they played at the Ali Pali.
Of course.
The Warped Tour UK.
Of course. Was that the year that was Asking
and Parkway.
And Hatebreed? Or was that the other year that
was the other year, I think, if my memory serves me right. Yeah, that was the year of the Radioactive P.
The Radioactive P. We'll get to that one because we're going to do a little deep dive into Warped Tour UK. Not Warped Tour America, but at some point we're going to deep dive Warped Tour because we've got some seriously funny stories from that festival. Especially now, one of the bands that was a band story that we could never tell, he's not in the band anymore, so we could probably get away with you telling a certain story.
Yeah, possibly.
But there's also, like, if you remember, there was the dude that jumped from the rigging into the crowd and, like...
Netsky.
Watsky. And I think maybe broke somebody's back doing it.
Something like that.
So yeah, we're going to deep dive into Warped Tour at some point because if we make enough like sort of nostalgia about it, maybe they'll bring it back.
Well, it's back in the States.
That's what I'm thinking. We need it back in the UK because I don't think a Warped Tour in the UK ever didn't sell out. It was always a sellout. So it'd be so worth bringing Warped Tour back. And
there's a few bands that are playing trees that are on Warped Tour, which is going to be cool.
Yeah, but Warped Tour has also taken away the model that killed the organisers, the runners, the tradesmen, everything, because that sort of dancing from state to state the way that they did, that's one of the main reasons I think that Warped Tour had to stop, is because it was such an undertaking.
Well, plus for the bands, you could be headlining one night and...
Well, no, if I remember correctly, do call me out in the comments, but it was top 3 were protected from rotating lineup.
Yeah.
Everybody else beneath. You could, as you say, start one day.
Yeah, you could be on at 10:30 in the morning one day, then the following day you could be on at like
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock in the evening.
And that was always mixed reviews because some people, and I think it was a way of trying to go, well, don't just turn up for the band that you want. But we're good examples, like with 2000 Trees this weekend, we have to miss Thursday because we just don't have enough corporate holiday to take.
It's gutting because, like, Paris are playing with a V, not the double A.
Yeah.
But also Kneecap, who are very controversial at the moment, and they're the organisers of 2000 Trees Festival has said that they are not cancelling under any pressure or anything. They were the first festival that Kneecap played in the mainland UK, and now this is going to be their first festival that they headline. And
it's going to be the first one.
They are awesome. I listen to them a lot because I like that hip-hoppy kind of sound.
Of course.
I don't pay much attention to the politics and all that kind of stuff. I know I should, but I live in my own little world, and it's nice there. And I just listen to the political side of things through their music, not through everything else that's in the media about them
and chants on stage and things like that. Look, you all know what we're talking about, and if you've got your finger on the pulse of UK festivals at the moment, and we're not here for controversy, so we don't have much of an opinion on the controversy.
No, I just like Kneecap for their music, for their art.
And also, if you take away a band or like anybody in the public eye a chance for redemption to do something differently, then you don't know how they handle being told that something wasn't quite appropriate. So I think Kneecap are going to be turning up, doing exactly what they should do. I don't know, I saw some footage of them playing this weekend in London at Finsbury Park with Fontaines DC, and it was lively, yes, and it was definitely had the same sort of messages as Glastonbury, but we'll see what happens, because they weren't the main villain. No, they weren't. And we'll leave it at that. Good old Robert. But honestly, make sure that you do check out last year's blog on our channel, From 2000 Trees. We're going to put another blog together this year because we do it for every festival. I'm going to repost the blog onto some of the socials as well. So it'll be everywhere just before we go. Just so you can see what we got up to last year. Yes, and we also happen to know that this is the festival that has always had safe gigs for women as a stall there. It's partly how we got to know so much about them is because we went and had a look when we saw that there was a safe gigs for women thing years ago when we first did it. Yeah. And it piqued our interest for supporting that, because we've said on the podcast before, we do like to consider ourselves gig caretakers because we used to be promoters, and we call out bad behaviour, mostly to security because that's the way you're meant to do it, things like that. So very happy to be back there. So it's not the only thing happening this weekend. We've got some predictions to make. Oh, it's good actually, because the Fit Festival normally for us finish on a Sunday, but this one finishes on a Saturday, so we can get home on the Sunday,
and watch the wrestling from the night before. Saturday night's main event.
Saturday night's main event,
Or
which is...
we could just get back in time and watch it live.
Yeah, there's every chance of doing that. Because it's not that far away from our own home. But 2 matches stand out from the card, which I think we need to talk about.
For the main event?
Yeah, for Saturday night's main event. And it's obviously Goldberg versus Gunther.
That's what I was going to mention.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't care who wins as long as I get to see Gunther slap the shit out of Goldberg. Because that is, I think, what most people want to see from that match.
Yeah, but I think that it'll probably be that Goldberg will win just so that he's got, it's his final fight. It's the legacy thing. You don't want to lose on your last.
Though it's a bit like taxi drivers not accepting fare on their last one. The culture of wrestling is you go out on your back, so you lose your last match.
Oh, okay. See, I'm still fresh to this wrestling thing. It's
some people do it.
I'm
some
7
people
months into it now.
So I can see that being, but I can see it like a really good false finish where Goldberg loses, but loses strong. So he still looks like a beast when he loses.
Did you watch SmackDown and Raw?
Yes.
Yeah. So could be a case that Goldberg wins it, takes the belt off him, and someone might cash in.
Yeah, no, there is with his personalised Money in the Bank briefcase.
What that one?
That one's the standard, which is why I have it, because I wanted the standard briefcase. But Seth has got one where the centre of the O is his symbol. Also,
Naomi's got a white one, but it's got all the yellow tape around it now. The
first time ever that they have 2 personalised Money in the Bank briefcases in operation at the same time, because normally it's one or other. And shout out our avid fan Jack, who came up with the money idea that TKO would love, which is Seth should accessorise his briefcase every week to the outfit he's wearing, and then they should sell that briefcase every week.
Why not?
I mean, he accessorises everything else. What I love about Seth Rollins' wardrobe choices is the amount of memes I see of just really weird clothing and really weird shoe wear that's just going,
It was the big flares he had on at the weekend. I was just like, okay.
To be honest, some of my favourite ones is when he was wearing the blue suit jacket, where he ripped off the jacket and then the little shirt underneath was exactly the same material, so it just looked like he had the same shirt on underneath. Or the big red boots.
Yeah.
Like the winter boots that made him clomp around. Like anybody else apart from Seth Rollins would look like an idiot. Anybody else. But no.
But yeah, I think he's going to cash in on the Gunther Goldberg fight, and then going forwards, I think maybe SummerSlam's in a month's time, so that could be Roman Reigns' comeback. And
you've got a theory about that?
I've got a theory about that. Yeah.
Lay it on me.
This is because I'm new to wrestling. I'm like trying these things out to see if they land or not. So Roman's been out of the scene for a little bit, but apparently he's been making a tribe, a crew, a posse of people that he can then go and take down Seth freaking Rollins.
I mean, it's interesting because Solo's just recruited the rest of the active Samoan family line members, apart from Tamatonga. Shout out to him. We need your yeah back. But we've got Tonga Loa back, and Talatonga's now joined. We've got JC Mateu, and what was brilliant is watching, if it would be SmackDown, where they had the main event tag match between Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso versus Solo and JC Mateo. Is putting gold on Solo with the US Championship legitimizes his new stable. It's not being called a bloodline, which is great because I don't think it should be, but it has legitimized his stable that the leader of it finally has gold, because Solo's never had a singles gold up until this point.
But talking of gold belts, the tag team.
The tag team has moved.
Changed hands again from the boring guys to to the Judgment Day. They're just so much more fun.
I mean,
I can't even remember the name of the other two.
New Day.
New Day.
But they are a decade old as a tag team.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, no. Within the movement of the New Day, Xavier, who's still an active member, got King of the Ring, which is what Cody just won. And Kofi Kingston and Big E, who's the one that got injured in New Day and had to quit wrestling.
I thought he got shot up.
No, he...
not that Biggie.
No, not that Biggie. But he sustained a neck injury so badly there was an immediate career done. And they've tried to turn heel, which the start of it was great. Not really seen much great heel work from them since.
Not more of a kitten heel than a big 6-inch
definitely not Achilles. But no, Judgment Day stood there, Dom, Finn, JD, all holding gold because...
That's it, there's a lot of gold in that.
And there's still gold on the female tag team titles as well.
Yeah, so,
it looks great.
They're very well decorated, the Judgment Day.
Exactly, and that does lead me on to, are they going to lose the female ones at Evolution because it creates drama between Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez?
Well, that's the next night, isn't it? That's on Sunday night. It's all-female lineup.
Or, I had a thought about this, depending on how long Liv is going to take to come back...
Months, apparently.
But they could build it where they hold on to the tag team titles and Roxanne and Raquel become besties so that then there's future... conflict if Liv does come back, because then Raquel doesn't know whether she is looking after Roxanne or whether she's looking after Liv. There's a way that they play it.
Now got Alexa Bliss has got a new tag team partnership, haven't they? Which didn't go down too well.
I genuinely love it because Charlotte Flair, I'm going to say it, when she came back and she was a little bit rough on the mic, a little bit rough in the ring, but going away from trying to do main title stuff, working with people like Alexa Bliss, shout out to Charlotte Flair, mate, you look so much happier. You look so much happier than when you first came back. And that's what I'm here for, is she looks happy, healthier. She had, and this was said in the ring, she had a year of hell. And what's really nice is that a lifer like her in the WWE, obviously nepotism baby, who has also proven that she has paid her dues and is a fantastic wrestler, to see her on camera get happier and healthier, that's what we're here for.
But also teaming her up with Alexa Bliss, who's also sort of like in that legacy spot now, been around for a while, went off, had a baby, and then came back, was it?
Yeah, believe so.
Because I think when we interviewed Jarrett from Bowling for Soup at the beginning of the year, we said to him, it's like, oh yeah, Alexa Bliss. He's like, yeah, I got a text from her to go like, have you seen Raw or whatever it was? It's like,
it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Bit of inside information there. It was just like, hey.
There's also been, imagine, a period of mourning because she was incredibly close to Bray Wyatt that passed in the last couple of years.
Oh, okay.
That's why the Wyatt 6.
That's something I was going to ask you, but off camera.
Ask on camera.
Why is there only 5 of them?
Because it's not spelt 6. It's spelled SYTX or something like that. So it's sticks, or it's a different spelling of 6.
But I like their aesthetic. It's like sort of mud-veiny kind of.
Well, they're basically crazy rednecks. Because
I got that.
The Wyatt family originally, sorry for everybody that actually watches wrestling longer than 7 months, unlike Mike.
It's part of the podcast, it's educational.
So the Wyatt family was originally Bray Wyatt, the Rowan guy, that's the tall, bold, ginger beard guy, and a guy called Luke Harper. Unfortunately, both Luke Harper and Bray Wyatt have passed.
Whoa.
And Uncle Howdy, the one with the mask and like the grey dreads, is actually Bray Wyatt's younger brother, Bo Dallas. Okay. So if there are 6 members, it's the 5 members and then the original head of the family, Bray Wyatt. And that's why there's a certain amount of... It's ambiguous. They haven't...
Because they always have the chair out with like a light on or a candle. All of that is
Bray's stuff. Because
I did wonder, is the chair symbolic for a 6th person? Because every time they come on, I'm like...
Well, it's
I'm sure there's only 5 of them.
I mean, the Fireflies, the chair, that was all the brainchild of Bray Wyatt when he formed the Wyatt family. Alexa Bliss joined them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've even had Braun Strowman as part of the family at points. Bray Wyatt also turned into the Fiend and had like probably the scariest mask that kids could look at. Like, I'm surprised they got away with it because it was genuinely horror movie level of
cool.
well done. But Bray passed like really unexpectedly. It was not something that like there was no build up, no big illness, or at least not publicly. And what I love is that Bo Dallas, up until that point, had a couple of runs in WWE. One of which was very funny because he was called Bo Leave. And he did this over the top, really, really sickeningly positive character. You've got to believe.
That's almost as bad as Large Coffee.
Yeah, Large Coffee.
Who apparently Chad Gable is out, just had surgery on his shoulder, but
it's now
someone else is being Large Coffee.
El Grande.
With an extra shot.
El Grande Americano. Ludwig Kaiser, because that's who's doing it.
Oh, okay.
But what's great is they're now just moving it round from muscly guy to muscly guy. But Ludwig walks in such an obvious way. But shout out to Chris Van Villette, because I've been told off for the way I pronounce Villet.
Fillet.
That's my Council of State roots coming out there. He did a really funny thing on his podcast where, in all seriousness, he tried to say that the guy behind the mask of El Grande Americano is a guy called Omos, who is like a 7 foot tall, very dark skinned man, who, one of the, like, if you're big enough to make Brock Lesnar look like a toddler, you know how big that guy is. But they did this like brilliant couple of minute section on the Chris Van Villette podcast, where they're genuinely thinking that it's this Omos character. So I love the fact that this is now becoming just a thing, because I am reliably assured by one of my wrestling friends that has been watching it his entire life, that this type of silliness and fun is lucha culture.
Yeah.
Like, they like El Grande. They probably came up with the concept for it in part. Because you see the way that Penta like sort of stalks to the ring, and we're all laughing at Penta trying to come in at Night of Champions, but then still struts at the top of the ring. It's like, get down to the ring, there's people, get down to the ring. He's still there, like, doing his thing. It's all part of the silliness and the over-the-top part of lucha culture.
Yeah.
I'm going to bounce back to Saturday Night Main Event just before we cover the Evolution stuff, just to say, really happy at the last-minute match card that's been put together between Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
I mean, they're both absolute units of wrestlers. And
there should be some good sounds as they slap and kick each other.
Yes. And Drew McIntyre as well. I was watching Seth talk about him, sort of outside of kayfabe and everything like that. And Drew McIntyre is one of the guys that Seth respects the most, because he was actually fired in his early career for just not being good enough. This is Seth's words, not mine. For not being good enough. And he went away, doubled down, rebranded, repurposed himself, and came back as the Scottish Psycho that we see now.
Yeah.
And oh my God, is he perfect for the main event scene. Even if he's, like, he hasn't chased a title in over a year, but it doesn't matter, because everything that he's done in that year has been absolutely brilliant storyline-wise. And you never know, a little Saturday night main event match between him and Randy could kick off a few months of storyline where they end it in something brutal like a Hell in a Cell or a cage match again. So he's done that with CM Punk as well as Damian Priest.
But also, like I said earlier, it's SummerSlam in just over a month's time, so it's...
We got stuff coming up, because obviously Cody's now facing Cena again, which it's going to be an interesting one, but I think also the reason why it's so quick to go King of the Ring to there for this particular storyline is they've already used so much of their good promo against each other. They're limiting the amount that they can do promos. But it's also just showing that Cody's good value at that level, whether or not he's winning it or not. He's good on the mic, he's good at doing whatever task they give him. I can see them keeping the title off him for a bit longer, just because he doesn't actually, since he finished his story and became undisputed title holder for over a year, he doesn't need to hold a title that quickly again, because he's just good value in the company.
Yeah.
And then I just want to get back to Evolution, because we got the big match between Trish Stratus and Tiffany Stratton, which...
The elder ladies of the group.
Well, no, Tiffy's the young one, and Trish is like her equivalent from the Attitude Era. That's why the promo was, oh, this isn't the Attitude Era, I'm going to kick your ass. Basically inferring that in the Diva timeline of the WWE, it wasn't the wrestlers' faults, and I'm not going to put fault at anyone, but they weren't allowed to sort of maximise their wrestling skills and become what the women's division has become now.
Okay.
Shout out Stephanie McMahon and everybody that turned it from a Divas sort of title to not just a women's title, but 2 top women's titles and then 2 lower card titles as well. That shows how good like it's become. So it's amazing because it's good legacy against the like young sort of title holder, and again it's just keeping things interesting between whether it's going to be Jade versus Tiffy and whether Naomi's going to cash in on that, or they could put it on Trish. She is deserving of having the women's title rather than the Divas title. It's still like, but I would be surprised if they did it, given that there's only been like a week's run up to it. And the other thing, and I am fully hopeful and believing of this, is that I am believing all of the internet rumours. It is fact, not just rumour. But AJ Lee, I really hope that she comes back for Evolution.
Well, we'll find out this weekend, won't we?
We've got Punk back, and it would be amazing that she also got to right that wrong. She lasted a lot longer after Punk's pipe bomb and he left the company than a lot of people thought that she would, and then took herself out of a toxic work environment for obvious reasons. So it'd be lovely to see her come back to the company and get another decent run, because then that's, you know, we've got Becky Lynch back at the moment, we've got Bayley, we've got all of the ones that we like from Modern Era, from Rhea to Jade. Liv's going to be back at some point, which I know makes you very happy as well.
But probably not until
end of the year.
End of the year.
It depends, because, and this is what I love about the WWE these days when it comes to the health aspect, is a wrestler doesn't fear calling an audible, which is when they say, I can't wrestle, I'm too hurt, in the way that they used to, because now there is that grace for injury.
Yeah, well, look at Logan Paul. He's
out for
he's
a bit.
out for from
the jump.
Yeah, it was.
Which one
He's
did
been
he
out
get?
for a good 6 weeks or so.
Was it Money in the Bank that we last saw him, I think?
Yes.
He did the flip onto the table and ballsed up his knee, I think, or something like that.
Injured something or other, but yeah.
But you're allowed, because, you know, a lot of, there's some wrestling or some wrestling injuries you can wrestle through, like Seth has famously wrestled in pain for months on end.
It's not Kurt Angle though, is it?
No. Won Olympic gold with a broken neck.
Yeah.
But yeah, wrestlers aren't wrestled into the ground, and only when they can't perform do they get the time off.
Is this why Goldberg's coming back?
I mean, again, like that's a thing, is Goldberg's going to have such a protected match with Gunther, because Gunther looks like he's hurting everybody, but the only thing that does actually hurt is his chops, because they are insane.
I can imagine.
I mean, I think I said it on a previous podcast, but at Clash of the Castle, we were in the nosebleed seats, similar to where me and you watched the New England Patriots last time. Like, you could hear the chops coming off the ring in like the actual sound when it was him versus Sheamus, which is why I just want to see Goldberg get the shit slapped out of him. It's going to be hilarious. But yeah, I think that covers everything for our sort of...
For the next 7 days.
For the next 7 days. We're going to be coming back next week with a 2000 Trees sort of poddy.
Highlight shows.
Well, it's probably going to be the blog, actually.
Yeah, of course.
We've got the blog, but we're also going to do our little sum up of... so it'll be a combination of Saturday night's main event and Evolution. So we're going to put that one together because we're both very excited that we can watch both. And later this week, we are going to be releasing another From the Vault.
Yes.
This one does feature the two of us again, but I know that you're looking forward to this one because it was one of your most glorious pranks in a festival press area that's ever happened.
You're just going to have to stay tuned, viewers.
Find out what that prank is. But until later this week or next week, Toodles, we'll see you soon.
Peace.